What's up, everybody? How are you? Welcome into the Week 3 NFL live stream here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel. Matt Perrault, and we're welcoming in a new co-host this year, Terrell Furman. He's going to be with us in the rotation. Fitzmaurice and talking to Erickson, and Furman's going to come in every now and then to have a conversation with us about Week 3 of the NFL. Terrell, great to work with you for the first time. How are you on this Sunday? It's a wild slate because we had the Thursday game with the Patriots and the Jets. We have 2 games coming up on Monday night. Smaller schedule than normal. How are you on this Sunday?
Oh, I'm good. I'm great. And you know what? I woke up in the morning and I saw Asia Wilson, unanimous MVP, cashed 100 plus money, even money bet on the offseason for that. So my day started off amazing. I'm here. I'm ready. College football was great. Let's roll it over.
Yeah, let's go. In case you guys are wondering about a WNBA play, I put one on the Betting Pros app. You guys can find it, bettingpros.com/Matt. There is a play for the W today because the playoffs do start today. It actually involves the Storm and the Aces. So there's a game if you want to have some action on the W today. I got it on the Betting Pros app. You guys can get it there for the Daily Juice. We did it yesterday with Miami laying 16.5. That cashed easily. So now we're going again here with the Aces and the Storm here today. So that's bettingpros.com/Matt to get into that. But we're here for the NFL. We go through all the games. We got our picks, plays, and thoughts. Then we wrap it with some player props, and then we'll get into anything we can get into here today with you guys for questions as you guys may have it for us. Let's start with the Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We do not yet know, Terrell, whether we're going to see Justin Herbert under center or not, or could it be one of the 2 backups that the Chargers could be playing here with Harbaugh. We know they want to run the football. We know this is a Pittsburgh Steelers defense that's stout. The total is down to 35 at Caesars, but the number at 2.5 has not moved. You like the D for the Steelers or a road dog in the Chargers here today?
So if I just got this right, it literally just got announced, Matt. I believe Herbert is starting today. So he's
beautiful.
He's starting. I mean, hey, in your sense, that could be beautiful. In my sense, that screams TJ Watt's going to have a day to me because he's not going to be mobile. That's a whole part of his game. Like, people don't want to talk about that. That's a really big part of his game of how he's be able to move around in the pocket, extend plays, and be able to get the ball downfield. And so, let me turn it up a little bit so
there we go.
Hear me. Let me know if I sound good.
Yeah,
all right,
good.
But yeah, So yeah, I really am fading that against this Steelers front, and I think the Steelers defense is going to be able to get home. You have a close game, and you have Mike Tomlin. You have Mike Tomlin, who's one of the best coaches over this time. Like, everybody talks about, hey, close games aren't really year to year. You may have a lot of close games one year. We're going to fade you the next year. No, Mike Tomlin does that with a whole bunch of different quarterbacks. He did it with Mason Rudolph. So I'm trusting Mike Tomlin here in a short spread at home. You got the Chargers, who stayed on this side of the coast, East Coast, Best Coast. They stayed on this side of the coast for the whole week. I think the sleepover is a little lax here, and I'm gonna take the Steelers laying 2.5.
Yeah, it's an ankle for Justin Herbert, and I'm actually on the East Coast too. So when I say good afternoon, I actually mean it. I'm in New Hampshire today, so I'm not in Vegas today. I'm in New Hampshire, so I'm on the East Coast today. This is all weird to have a 1:00 kick for me. This is like back when I was growing up and back living in New England. So it's a little odd. I'm used to waking up for first thing in the morning, doing the live stream, and then hit some coffee, and we're good to go with football. This is a little bit. This is lunchtime.
I was in Vegas for week 1, and the games ended. The last game ended, and everybody said, "All right, what we doing next?" And I said, "What you mean? What we doing next?
You going home?
I'm not going to sleep.
No.
I'm going to bed.
It's only 9:00. We're just starting. The day's just beginning. It's beautiful. All football is done. Sunday night football is over, and it's like, all right, where are we going for dinner? Let's go. So yeah, it's definitely a unique time switch when it's East Coast versus West Coast time, and I'm going to be very curious to see how this offense handles the pass rush and whether or not you can see a running game that we obviously know that the Chargers have been leaning on heavily here this year with Coach Harbaugh. Can they move the ball on the ground? Because Herbert, as we've talked about, may not be able to get back there as quickly in a 5-step or 7-step drop. This game very well could be part of the Wong teaser, though. As you guys who are new, if you don't know what a Wong teaser is, we're looking at 1.5, 2.5 for a road dog or a home dog, or 7.5, 8, and pulling it down or pulling it up, crossing 3 and crossing 7. So I do one every single week. We're 0-2 to start the year. I'm 2-0 on my personal teasers, 0-2 on the Wong teasers. Normally, because of the data, it takes some time for the books to get their numbers sharp, so it really benefits you. So it's not that uncommon for the Wong teaser to start slow. But this game with a total of 35, man, you give the Chargers 8.5 points, and I'm going to feel pretty good about the Chargers. They may lose the game, but I don't think they're losing the game by 10 points, given that Justin Fields' offense has not done very much so far. The other angle, the other side of this, could be Chicago and Indianapolis. This number opened at 2.5 and a 46.5 number. We're down to 1.5, 1 at Caesars, 43 at Circa, 43.5 at the Superbook here. You have a home slight favorite in Indianapolis. You have two very inexperienced quarterbacks going here today. You got to think running the football, Terrell, is going to be a big thing for both the Bears and the Colts.
Yeah, absolutely. Running the football, not turning the football over. The Colts did a really good job of not turning the football over. They just couldn't get any offense. And then you have the weird, and at this point, like, how do you trust Shane Steichen as a coach? Like, to be honest, like, how do I trust you as a coach? Granted, I'm not saying that I'm fading Steichen here, but I'm just saying there's no reason Jonathan Taylor doesn't get fourth quarter touches there because we want to see Trey Sermon. What? Like, what? This is the third game of the season. This is not week 17, week 18. Like, so that it just will never resonate to me. And I'm always going to look at the Colts kind of sideways when I bet them. But I got to bet them here. Like, I think the Colts defense is really solid. This is another road spot, back-to-back road spot for Caleb Williams as a rookie quarterback. That's a really, really tough spot to go into. And 0-2 team versus 1-1 team. It's about a 60% trend. So you're going to see a bunch of games that fall into that spectrum, and about a third of them aren't going to hit. But I think this is one of the few that's going to hit. Like, I think this is hey, we really have to get in here and lock in and get it together because we feel like we kind of, drop that game in Green Bay down the toilet.
Yeah. If you want to jack your mic, you can jack your mic, but higher if you want.
A little bit more?
Yeah, you can pull up even more so guys can do it. There we go.
I'll just hold it. There we go.
That's beautiful.
That'll be better.
Now you sound gorgeous. Okay, that's better. So we'll watch that. We'll go through here. We got about, another 35, 40 minutes before we have to officially make that call. I think that the Bears, much like the Chargers, I think they'll be in the game. I'm not sure they win the game, but I think they'll be in the game. And look, this could be which quarterback makes the big mistake. Is it Williams or is it going to be Richardson? And, there was a lot of talk after the game for the Bears and the Texans about did CJ Stroud, little brother, Caleb Williams. And I don't know. I think that's such a dumb thing for the media to pick up upon because I really thought it was just a guy who was in his shoes last year as a highly picked quarterback getting his head bashed in that, hey, you know what? Relax. You're going to be fine. He took so many hits. Caleb Williams showed me a lot last week just about the ability to get hit, get up, and keep playing. Sure, he missed a bunch of wide open receivers. And I saw the PFF report about how many open receivers Caleb Williams has missed through the first 2 weeks of the season. What can you expect for the guy? His eyes are down because he can't look past the pass rush. Not yet. Yeah. He's getting his butt kicked.
and that's like everybody, and I know my New York Giants are horrible, and we have nothing to look forward to. But everybody's talking about our offensive line, and the Bears just get to go scot-free. Nobody gets to talk about the Bears and how bad the Bears' offensive line is.
Patriots is pretty bad too. So there's a couple teams with really bad offensive lines in football, and guys are getting unfortunately are getting just completely crushed. So it's one of those situations where young quarterbacks running for their life have a tough time looking around trying to find someone downfield. And I think Caleb will be fine. A game that I am completely torn on, Houston and Minnesota. The number opened up at 4.5. It's been bet down to 2. The total is 46 in this one. I initially came in and I was thinking I'm taking the Texans. They're going to win this game on the road. And I finally just got talked into teasing the Vikings up to +8.
I was just about to say, because does this not fit your Wong teaser criteria?
I just did it. I didn't even wait because Wong basically is within 30 minutes of kickoff. I didn't even wait. I just said, I'm teasing this game up and just saying, okay, it's going to be a 1-score game one way or the other. But are you high on the Vikings? Because going into the year, I was really low on Minnesota. And look, they're 2-0 and they've been great.
Yeah, I was super low, but now it just seems like the curse of Carolina just has kind of reached its stench, and the Jets. Let's go ahead, throw the Jets in there too.
Right.
And it's gotten completely off of Sam Darnold. That gap year in San Francisco seems like it really, really worked because he's playing really, really good football. He's getting the ball to his weapons. He doesn't look flustered. He's being smart with it. The defense is playing out of this world, and I think that's ultimately what it is for me. You got a young quarterback going up a Brian Flores defense who is quietly on a revenge tour. Right before the season, Tua came out, interview, all this stuff. Hey, Brian Flores was so mean to me. Brian Flores is a jerk. I don't like that guy. All this stuff.
Right.
Look at the Vikings at 2-0 right now, and it's been off of the back of the defense. Like, I think Brian Flores quietly, this is a narrative that people are not pushing, and I get it because of the lawsuit and everything, but I think Brian Flores is quietly on a revenge tour right now, and he's just throwing some really, really good looks at these quarterbacks, and he gets another young quarterback in CJ Stroud, where on the road the Texans have not been as impressive. Like, and then you have a Texans team that just doesn't cover as a favorite. Like, that's also another thing. Like, it doesn't matter what the situation is, they just choose not to cover as a favorite. They didn't cover well, if you got the 6, you pushed. If you got 6.5, you won. Anything further, okay. But like, even week 1 against the Colts, it was 2.5 and they didn't cover that. And so I'm just gonna fade them. I think this is a great teaser leg.
Yeah, I'm on the Vikings +8 on this and see how it plays out. I'll tell you about the second leg here in a second. But guys, do you want a chance to score and win this signed Nick Chubb helmet for free? It is courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com. All you need to do is download or go to bettingpros.com/contest, complete the form, and either download the Betting Pros app, leave a review for any Betting Pros podcast, or subscribe to our social media channels. That's at Betting Pros on X and TikTok, and at Betting Pros NFL on Instagram. The more actions you complete, the more entries you will receive. We'll announce the winner right here at the end of the month on this Betting Pros YouTube channel. So make sure you turn on those notifications so you guys can be alerted when the new episode drops, and the winner will be announced to win this autographed Nick Chubb helmet. Enter for free at bettingpros.com/contest. All right, let's go to the Giants. You're a Giant fan here on the road against Cleveland.
Browns.
Terrell, I keep on hearing this, man. I keep on hearing there's no way the New York Giants should be catching 6.5 points from the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson hasn't played well. This offense has not looked healthy. The defense has not been great for the Browns. Daniel Jones hasn't covered in 9 straight games. You want to take 6.5 here? How do you feel about your Giants on the road?
I don't feel good about it. I think Daniel Jones' interception is probably the best bet of this game. Just go ahead, lay the -130, whatever it is. Like, I don't. And ultimately, you can say everything that you like, but I just feel like this Giants team is horrible. Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. And at this point, 14 games left. That's all I'm counting down. 14 games left until this experience is over. And because if he plays another game after this season, I just don't know. I might have to go try to put in a request to be a fan of another team. Yeah, maybe I'll go over to the Jets. It seems like things are on the up and up over there. I don't know. That's still kind of stressful. But yeah, no, I just can't get behind the offense, and I just don't think they're going to move the ball. I think the best bet in this game is actually the under. And I think the under is really good because I do not think that Deshaun Watson is anybody you should lay 6.5 points with. And if you bet this game on the side and, you feel really good about the side, then, hey, 1-800-GAMBLER is a very, very good number. And I think that you should 100% tap into it and just call over there, ask them how they're doing, tell them about your life a little bit, say a couple of things. And then, hey, maybe you make a new friend over there at 1-800-GAMBLER if you choose to lay 6.5 with Deshaun Watson or bet the Giants in any shape or form.
I don't know. It was 40.5. Now it's 38. So I don't mind.
It might be 10-7. It might be 10-7. Like that is a real possibility.
It could be, but it also could be Daniel Jones just those 2 picks, and then the game gets away, and the Browns defense wins the game. It's 13-3. And you're sitting there going, "My gosh, why did I get involved with this game? I should never have gotten involved with this game." So. Tough. No, you did not miss Lions Cardinals. Relax. We're going to the early. These are the early slate, guys. These are the 1:00 kick games.
We're so excited. We're so excited.
And we'll do the 4:00 game. We'll do the Sunday night game. So we got plenty of games to come, including Philadelphia on the road at New Orleans. The play has come in on Philly as expected. I took this yesterday from 3 up to 9. This is the other leg of my Minnesota +8 is Philly +9 here. This is Joe Public is all over the New Orleans Saints. The pros are all over the Philadelphia Eagles. The problem that you'll have is the numbers for Jalen Hurts as a dog. He's 1-4 ATS over his last 5 games as an underdog, and he's 2-9 straight up over his last 11 games as an underdog. This team does not play well on the road. This team does not play well as a dog, Terrell. But I'm going to give the Eagles 9 points here and hope that this Derek Carr-led offense for the Saints, 91 points in 2 weeks, was a recipe of the defenses they were facing, not the offense being this good.
Well, I mean, even so, I think this Eagles secondary is really, really bad. Like,
Mhm.
I just don't believe in them. And yeah, you can say they were in prevent defense in that last drive, and that's how they kind of gave it up. They gave up a bunch of passing yards throughout that game. They gave up a bunch of passing yards to Jordan Love the game before. Like Jayden Reed cooked them for 100 plus and a touchdown. Like I think this is just another situation where the Eagles secondary is letting them down. They let them down last year. I think they were bottom 5, bottom 7 in terms of fantasy points allowed to wide receivers because they couldn't guard anybody. And so that's the only thing that's really keeping me from looking at the Eagles here, besides the fact that I hate the Eagles, is the fact that I think Derek Carr is playing really, really well right now, and I just
Yep.
don't want to fade Clint Kubiak in this offense. So another way for me to play this one is to just back Derek Carr over his passing yards. I got it earlier this week at 36.5. Is currently sitting at well, I got it 38.5. It's currently sitting at 249.5 right now.
Wow,
So
look at that thing
250,
run.
huge
CLV.
CLV. Yeah, huge CLV there. But I mean, they had two good games against Kirk Cousins and against Jordan Love. I think Derek Carr under this offense, how he's playing, plus the fact that I think they have a really, really good matchup with Chris Olave in the slot against Quinyon Mitchell, the rookie. And we'll see if Darius Slade travels with him inside the slot. But even if he does, I think that's still a pretty good matchup for Olave, just given how much work he does in there. And then Shaid has just been on such a tip with Derek Carr in terms of they've been on the same. They know, hey, this is a go route. Hey, when you see this, go ahead, do a go route. I'm gonna just give it to you. He was talking about it last season in the Titans game. I'm gonna get you the
Mm-hmm.
ball, and he's constantly doing that for Shaid this year. I think they're gonna have a bunch of passing yards.
Denver's on the road against Tampa. If you want to talk about one of the most popular survivor picks in the Circa Survivor for the less than 4,000 entries that are left after the 14,200 started in the first 2 weeks, we have seen more entries eliminated this year than the entire contest last year for the Circa
Mm-hmm.
Survivor, which is unbelievable. The first 2 weeks, the Ravens losing last week destroyed so many entries combined with the Bengals last week. You want to talk about popular picks? The Bucks here to beat the Broncos. There's some stats here that are just dangerous. You look at Sean Payton. He is
Mm-hmm.
a combined 22, 9, and 1 ATS in his coaching career in week 3 and week 4. That's the best of any coach all time, according to the Action Network. Baker Mayfield, after a win in his next game, he's 9 and 19 straight up, 5 and 4 with the Bucks. So you have he's been better, but Baker after a win, normally
Mm-hmm.
not great. Okay. After win as a dog, sorry, after win after being a dog, because they beat the Lions last week on the road as a dog. Baker, after being a dog the week before it wins, the next week is 9 and 19 straight up. I feel like the Broncos cover this. I maybe they don't win the game, but I
Mm-hmm.
think this is going to be closer than people think. And I think if you have picked the Bucks, you're going to be, feeling pretty tense in the fourth quarter of this game. Where are you on Bucks Broncos?
Yeah, I think this is a coaching masterclass by Sean Payton here, and just over Ty Bowles. And hey, I know I have my rookie quarterback on the road. I know we're going to Florida. I know it's going to be rather warm, but I think this is a great opportunity here to just, hey, we're going to attack the middle of the field. We know they're going to blitz. We know the blitz is coming. We're going to get
Mm-hmm.
the protection set. We're going to attack the middle of the field. We're going to get the ball out quick and get it in our playmakers' hands and let them do all of the work. Bo Nix doesn't have to go out there and try to make every play. Just get the ball to your playmakers, let them do all the work, and hey, avoid the pass rush by moving the ball fast, running the football. I think that this is going to be a better Javonte Williams game here, where they actually find some strength in the run game. And so, yeah, I'm with you. I think that this is Sean Payton just coaching up his group, just really, really coaching up his group and earning the first round pick that it paid for them to get him. So, absolutely, I think this is going to be hey, I like fading the public too. This is one of the most
Yep.
heavily bet sides.
Yep.
Tampa Bay laying 6.5. And this is Baker not only off of a win, but this is Baker off of a playoff revenge win. I mean, Baker had blood in his eyes looking at the
Yeah.
Lions last week, and now you get this letdown of playing the Broncos. Yeah, I think this is a 3-point game either way.
The last game in the early slate, the Green Bay Packers on the road against the Tennessee Titans. I'm on the dog here. I took the 3 points, even money. The total was 37 here. I've not seen. Do we know who's starting at quarterback yet? Have we learned yet?
It is Malik Willis. It is
Perfect.
Malik Willis.
And I actually like it being Malik Willis because I think they're going to run the ball, just like they did last week. And I think it's going to be a tough time of this Titans team. Look, I have I bet the under on the Titans wins for the season. I do not like Will Levis. I've told this story a bunch of times, but I'll tell you, Terrell, here. I covered Nebraska when Bill Callahan came in and decided to take one of the best rushing historic offenses in college football history and try to throw the ball all over the place. It was a disaster. I don't know if Brian Callahan's going to be as big of a disaster, but Bill's on the staff for the Titans. He's the offensive line coach for this team. They're taking a team that wants to slam the ball down people's throats, and you're going to ask Will Levis to drop back and throw the ball a ton. And we've seen in back-to-back weeks plays that literally made the coach ask, what the bleep are you doing to his quarterback? We're going to have another moment like that here in this football game. Matt LaFleur, the stats are nuts. As a dog, Matt LaFleur is 23-11 ATS in his coaching career. He's the most profitable in the Super Bowl era. He's 14-3 with Green Bay against the number in the first 3 weeks of the regular season. If the Packers cover today, it will make Matt LaFleur the most profitable coach in the first 3 weeks of the NFL season in the last 20 years. This is a coaching matchup. This is a coaching mismatch. Give me the Packers +3.
I'm on the Titans still.
Okay.
And I think that the game plan is rather simple here is we're going to make Malik Willis do what we know he can't do, and that's why we traded him to the Packers, and that's pass the football. Like, we're going to make him pass the football. We're going to put him in situations where you have to pass the football and make plays. And I think he'll make a couple of plays. But I think far more of them he probably won't. And maybe a little bit better of a bet on this game is Titans in the first half, because we've seen them nerf a couple of leads this season. And looking at the Titans over the past 2 seasons, they're actually 12-7 ATS in the first half, 2-0 as home favorites in the first half. 6-1 as home dogs for a total of 8-1 at home in the first half over the past 2 seasons. I think that's another good play where I don't even want to play with the Titans and giving Levis more time to nerf this game up, because he will. If he could hand the ball off to the defensive tackle, he would. So I understand the fade in Will Levis. I am a guy that was on the Will Levis train and I quickly hopped off the Will Levis train, but I think this is still a good spot here. Now, if he doesn't get this spot here, then there's no, like, it's an automatic fade the rest of the season. Absolutely. But as of right now, I think this is a really, really good spot because it's just so one-dimensional to offense. Everybody knew the run was coming last week and they still couldn't stop it. This Tennessee defense is way better. I think there's a lot better run stuffers, and I think they have the man coverage corners that can handle their own in man. So yeah, I like the Tennessee defense to step up really, really big and pull Tennessee through this.
Interesting. We'll see. I like the dog on that one. Before we get to the afternoon slate, guys, let's invite you to join our NFL podcast group. You can join the group by visiting the community tab in the Betting Pros app or by going to bettingpros.com/NFL contest. You can sync your picks or use the quick pick feature on the Betting Pros app and get a chance to win free weekly and monthly prizes. Elevate your betting strategy and join the conversation today at bettingpros.com/NFL contest. We head to the afternoon slate of games and we go to Vegas, where I live and not currently residing. Carolina. This is another gigantic play here for the public. The Raiders, off of a huge win on the road against Baltimore in a game that they should not have won because that was not pass interference in the end zone. I thought Devontae Adams bought that call that got that touchdown to tie the game, ultimately giving the Ravens inability to move the football in the second half for some ungodly reason. They lose the game to the Raiders on a last-second kick. But this number, wow, this number. It's 5, 5.5. It's 6 at Caesars as we're seeing more money come in here on the Raiders. 40 is the total here. Andy Dalton's the quarterback, Terrell. What does this do to everything in terms of the total, the side, the props? No Bryce Young.
Well, it gives it, fortunately, and while I don't think Bryce Young is a horrible quarterback, it gives them a chance. And it does because Andy Dalton is a veteran enough to know, hey, my offensive line sucks and I need to get this ball out quick, and I just need to make a decision of where I'm going with it off the snap. Like, already, I'm not going to have the time to sit there and let a play develop. And that's what he's done for him. Quietly, Andy Dalton has played every single year of football. Like, he hasn't taken a year off. He's come into a game and started and played multiple games for multiple seasons. And I think at this point, it's just a very, very good vet spot coming into this team, going up against the Raiders on the road where, hey, this is going to be Carolina is in full force. I'm from this area. I've seen everything they're saying, and they're saying, hey, the offense is going to look better with Andy Dalton. Nobody wants to admit it because everybody wants to move past because Andy Dalton has a ceiling, but better is better. Now, is better enough to the point of them covering this line? I don't know. I don't want to play with that. However, there are a few Carolina props that I do think that we can take advantage of. Starting with Adam Thielen, over 44.5 receiving yards. And I would take the receptions. I would ladder that all the way up, actually. I think Adam Thielen's going to have an amazing game here because he's going to have somebody able to really get him the football. Adam Thielen's not a bad wide receiver. And so if you actually look on Carolina's Twitter page, they dropped a hype video. And granted, I do know the people. I've worked around the Carolina Panthers, and I went to school in Carolina, so I know a lot of people around there. And so I know that they don't have anything to do with the offensive game plan. But if you look at the Carolina Panthers teaser video for Andy Dalton, Adam Thielen is catching every single pass, every single one. Every pass he threw in the teaser video, Adam Thielen caught. I mean, I feel like the social team is trying to tell us something here. I think this is a really good spot. Somebody who was one of his favorite targets for Bryce Young and Andy Dalton last season. I think he's going to have a really, really good game this game. And then also Xavier Leggett. Yep. I mean, Xavier, this is why I tell people, hey, it's very important if you're a sports bettor to follow your beat writers of teams. They are going to give you little tips and gems that you do not know of. So this is a beat writer from the Carolina Panthers, and they were talking to Leggett after the game or after practice or something like that. And so he actually was saying, hey, he was frustrated that he didn't get targeted, and, they're going to work on it. But also, he says he and Andy Dalton came in and was throwing his passes when they brought him in from South Carolina. So when he first got there, that was the quarterback he was working with, and he's been working with them through the second team offense, working with them all this time through practice. They have an understanding with each other. They have the deep ball figured out, and he feels like that's one of their best passes. I think Xavier Leggett can get behind the defense and get a big touchdown here. He's at 5-1. That is a long shot touchdown play for me, but I think Xavier Leggett, 5-1 anytime touchdown score is just going to be interesting because I think this is going to be a sneaky shootout game where, hey, Andy Dalton's not going to go quietly, but I still think the Raiders offense is going to move the ball.
Interesting. David, I'm going to put this up because I don't know. Maybe I was going back and forth last night as to which leg I want to put for my own teaser. That's the daily juice. Oh, sorry. That's the recap video. No, that's right. Yeah, that's it. So this is Eagles, Vikings, it's not a recap. These are the plays. We're doing Vikings +8, Eagles +9, Ravens -1, and Packers -3. So that's the actual daily juice. That's the daily juice official plays for today. So I don't know if I may have told Sal differently, and if I did, I apologize. I was in the airport when I was sending it, so I may have written. I was going back and forth. I thought about teasing the Broncos. The Broncos got dropped off. That was very close to it.
12 points. 12 points.
I just said
Baker.
Yeah, I look. I like Baker a lot. I like the
Bucs
a
I
lot.
do.
So I got scared. I was like, man, because if Bo Nix throws a bunch of picks today, that game
it could be ugly. It could be
ugly. So I was like, you know what? Even though I like the Broncos +6.5, I like the Broncos +12.5. I think the safer play is just to go ahead and take the Vikings +8. So I apologize if that's been any misconfusion on that. That's on me because I may have had that before with a problem with that. So it's Eagles +9, Vikings +8 on that. Next game, Miami and Seattle. I mean, my gosh.
Best bet.
Really?
Best bet.
You like Miami, don't you?
Best bet.
It's the last bet off my card to take Miami. Why is Seattle going to fail to cover this number? It's now 4.
All right. So we're hitting so many system matches, but number one system, the close your eyes special. I mean, the close your eyes special. So you have the close your eyes special where you underperform the spread by 21 or more points the week before, catching points the next week. You take that team. They are hitting at about 61% over the past 3 years. Very, very good spot for the close your eyes special because we also have extended rest where they're coming off of the Thursday night football. So they had extra time to get Skylar Thompson. This is not one of those situations where is it Tua? Is it Thompson? Is it Tua? Right. Is it Thompson? And we're splitting first team reps and we're trying to figure it. No, this is all first team reps. Skylar Thompson knew once that game was over, he was the starting quarterback. They also have they have a major rest advantage. They have a nice bounce back spot for them. But then you have the Seattle Seahawks coming off of overtime, also having to travel to New England, then from New England come back here, play another game. You're losing travel days, you're losing rest, all of that. And then it's just Geno laying 4 points or more. Like, that's just not a spot that you want to lay over a field goal with Geno Smith. Like, that, he's just not that kind of quarterback. And so they also are not going to have Kenneth Walker in this game. And then the stats and the lines between Kenneth Walker being in the lineup and out of the lineup are glaring. And I think that's going to mean something. I think that the Dolphins are going to find a way to stop the run game. And I think Skylar Thompson just has to do enough to get the ball to his playmakers. Then you have Achan, who I think can run all over this defense as well. So I love the Dolphins. I think Tua being out just made this line a little bit too absurd. And I think the Dolphins are going to come here on the road and get a win outright.
Outright for Seattle.
Outright.
Yeah, I may add it. It was the last bet. I was staring at 4.5 last night going, my gosh, this, if it wasn't Skylar Thompson, if it just were, he scares the heck out of me. I'm not going to lie. I mean,
so let me tell you this.
Okay.
His first game, he did not cover, looked bad, first game ever. He's played 2 games since that, including 1 game in Buffalo in the playoffs. He's covered both.
Okay.
Covered both. 2-0 ATS outside of that first game.
Yeah, and lose by 3, right? I mean, he can just lose by 3.
Lose by 3.
And cover the 4. So it's down to 4. The first move was obviously to take Miami was -1. They were favored, and then Tua got ruled out. Obviously, that was a look-ahead line. Now it's to 4 for Seattle. The Lions and the Cardinals. This is a wild matchup. Number opened at 4.5. It's been bet down to 3 even money. The books do not want to go to 2.5. It's obvious. The total has gone from 51.5 up to 52 at certain books. This is the other play, and I may add this depending on how the early slate goes for me. How do we not bet the over in this game? Like, how is this game not a shootout?
The only way I can say not is contrarian betting the under on the highest total on the board.
Fair.
But I mean, when you think about it, how does this not have a bunch of points? Kyler and his offense look great. Like, Kyler and his offense looks great. And Marvin Harrison Jr., if he really is coming into his own now, and last week was just kind of a preview, he's getting another long, deep touchdown as well. Like, Kyler can run all over his defense, but then you still have the Detroit Lions, who I think are mad. I think they are angry that they blew that game last week. I think they see themselves as the level pedigree of a team that should be like 5-0 in the first 5 games, something like that. And that was a very unfortunate loss that they didn't want to take, especially as 7-point favorites. Like, I
was on the Bucs. I loved the Bucs last week, and I know they're going to be mad. You're absolutely right. I think Marvin Harrison gets shut down today. I think the Lions are going to say anybody except him. I'm on the under for his.
But then you still
yards.
have Trey McBride. You still got.
But
you got James Conner to worry about. Like, it's a lot of options here. And then Kyler with his legs and just extending plays, he makes, the worst of players look better.
True. No, I think Jameson Williams could have a big game here today. I think he's been a lot of fun to watch, and I think he has a chance. It's plus 185 for him anytime touchdown. I think we know what this offense right now is from a big play perspective, what they do with Williams. I like him in this game. I like Marvin Harrison to be shut down or at least contained here after what he did last week. The Lions are going to put a big circle around him and try to bracket him and not allow him to do, because we know right now when Kyler is scrambling, he's looking for Marvin Harrison Jr., which he did not do in week 1. So in week 2, he very much has. So I think we're going to see an opportunity for a defense to say anybody but him. And you're right. There are some weapons here. It's why I didn't bet this game, because I may, depending, again, I may tease this. I may do a same game teaser, have the Lions plus 9 and take the total up and say, okay, it's 52, take it up to 56 and take under with this. Because I do think there's some logic to that, right? Take the highest. And then
Aiden Hutchinson is still in the game, and he's going to wreak havoc. But it's just Kyler is just so. I'm actually kind of selling myself on a Kyler. I wonder what Kyler's rushing yards are. I'm kind of selling myself on a Kyler rushing yards today. I just
probably
think that
40,
defensive front,
50, probably.
I think that defensive front,
33.5. That's low. Wow.
Yeah.
Good job,
I would have expected 42 or something like
that.
Good
job,
yeah.
Madison. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's low. I don't mind that at all. I mean, him. Yeah. But again, they don't want him running. Like, they want him scrambling, but they'd rather not have him run, because when he runs, he takes big hits, and when he takes big hits, he doesn't stay around for a long time. So that there's definitely a fear factor. All right, the last 3 games are all monster. Baltimore and Dallas. This number is now 1.5 across the board, cemented. Opened up Dallas -1. I took the Ravens -1 here. They're now the favorite. It's 47.5 on this one. If you want to tease Dallas up, you can go ahead and do so. You got to wait till kickoff for a long teaser. You got to wait for another 3-4 hours before you bet it if you want to do the system for the long teaser. But you can bet it now and tease it up if you want. But look, this is an 0-2 football team. This is my pick to win the Super Bowl, Terrell. I picked the Ravens to win it all.
Okay.
0-2. We got a problem.
Desperation.
Here. I have the Ravens -1.
Desperation.
Yeah.
It's a desperate. I mean, you have the Ravens, who are in a good system spot of backing an 0-2 team who lost as a favorite last week. So it's like, all right, you started your first game off bad. You were expected to win the second game, and you dropped that one too. Now expectations are in. Now you feel like, okay, we got to get in the win column. We got to take this a little more seriously. And so, yeah, I think that this is also another fade of Thursday night football look ahead. So the Cowboys are looking ahead to, I mean, you're playing the Giants, but it's still short week. Yep. 65.2% fading home teams week 4 or earlier. 43, 23, and 6 ATS who have Thursday night football on the look ahead. It hit last week with the Jets. Well, not the Jets, with the Patriots. It hit last week, and you were able to get the look ahead there. I think this is a good spot with the Cowboys here, fading them, looking ahead to the Giants, looking ahead Thursday night football. You have a very, very good defense with the Ravens. I think that the run game is going to be able to get going with Derrick Henry. They started to kind of try to figure that out during that Raiders game. That's what kind of Raiders game felt like. Hey, still figuring this team out, figuring out this new offensive line. I think that the Cowboys will be able to make it close in the first half, but I just think the Ravens are going to pull away and just beat on them by running the football, and saying, I don't care if this is not our offensive line from last year. We trust these guys, and we're still going to run the football. Like, we're not going to stop doing this, and I think that's a place where they can exploit Dallas Cowboys.
I'm really excited to see what's going to happen today in this game, because I think it's going to be wild to watch. If the Ravens lose this game and start 0-3, Dallas already has a win. They're 1-1. It's a different story for them. They go 1-2. Yes, Jerry Jones is mad, but that defense got shredded by the Saints last week. Running the football, I mean, I think Kamara just scored again. So I give me the Ravens today. I think Dallas's defense is overrated, and I like the Ravens. The Niners on the road against the Rams. Man, we thought this was going to be an unbelievable NFC West matchup, but both teams are so darn banged up. We're seeing the lack of the 3 top weapons for the Niners, top 2 weapons for the Rams. This total is down to 44.5, depending on what you're looking at. It opened up at 48. We see a number at 4.5 at open. It's still 6. It was as high as 7. We're now down to -6 for San Francisco against the Rams. This feels like a complete no play, does it not?
Oh, no. This is another one of my favorite plays. I'm taking the Rams +7 here. Okay. Oh, 100%. Taking the Rams +7 here. Rams +7. If you have that 7.5 still, oh, well, congrats to you. You know me. I'm CLV king here. So, yeah. So this is a really good spot to, one, back the Rams. I talked about the close your eyes special. Underperform the spread the week before, 21 or more points. You're catching points the next week. Essentially, the books are saying, hey, you just got beat so bad that we're changing the line of what's happening next week, and it's an overreaction. The team gets up. They understand they were embarrassed, and they play a really, really good game. And so you also have Kyle Shanahan here as a favorite of 7 points or more, is actually 2-6 ATS in his career. They're 7-1 in those games, but 2-6 ATS. He doesn't cover a line as a road favorite of 7 points or more. This is an opportunity where they are missing people, and the Rams are missing players. Like, everybody talks about what the Rams have been missing this entire week when I've said I'm betting the Rams, and I'm like, why are none of you talking about the key defensive players that the 49ers are missing? Nobody's talking about George Kittle. Well, now we're talking about George Kittle, but nobody was talking about George Kittle earlier in the week, and now he's out, and they're like, oh, what happened? I'm like, well, he didn't look good. Like, now Debo Samuel's out. Christian McCaffrey's out. Look, Brock Purdy's going to go out there and earn his money. He's going to go out there and earn his money this week, because if he can go out there and dominate this game without all those weapons, then it shows, hey, he's an MVP candidate, and he's able to do it. But I don't think that he's at that level, and it's not a slight. I think they're still potentially can win the game, but I think they keep this close. Plus, the Rams were in this exact same situation last year. They were catching 9.5 at home against the 49ers, and what did Sean McVay do? He kicked the field goal at the end of the game for the cover because Sean McVay is a man for the people. I'm taking the Rams all the way.
I can't wait to see if Brock Purdy, and I don't mind Brock Purdy over his rushing yards. I was on it last week. He got it pretty easily. I haven't bet it yet. That might be something I'll add later as the day progresses. But I think Brock Purdy is going to be able to do something against his Rams defense. And look, they haven't looked the same without Aaron Donald, and they've had some tough looks early in the season. Brock has a chance. If he goes out there and covers, he's going to shut up a lot of people who have been talking about how negative he is. And he's just he's a benefactor of all the talent around him. He's Mr. Irrelevant. He fell, into a pile of money with this and getting himself into the best situation. All right, let's see it. Brock,
see, the chat's already starting. They're saying the Rams are not the play. Why is everybody on the 49ers like? First of all, you could have gave me this in a vacuum. I'm not laying this number with Kyle Shanahan on the road. 2-6 is just something that
right. I agree.
That's a trend that I just can't ignore. And he's won 7 of the games. He's won 7 of the games. So you're telling me that your team was so much better to be a 7-point favorite and you only covered 2? That's just the trend I can't fade.
Yeah, over a 2-score victory is hard to see for the Niners here today. And at 7.5, it's a great number to tease it down, like you mentioned before. You can and I don't even mind it. And right now at 6.5, teasing it down, or 6, teasing it down to a pick and taking the 49ers. But it's a road team. It's a banged up team. If Purdy performs poorly, the Rams could win that game. Sunday night, this is wild. Chiefs, Falcons, number opened up at 4.5. The total is down to 46.5. I know you like the total. I'm having a hard time not betting the Chiefs here, laying 3 points. Everyone's on the Falcons, Terrell.
Is everybody on the Falcons? Is that true? I've heard everybody saying. I've heard everybody saying Chiefs. Wow.
Yeah, maybe the content space, but professional. Look at the money. Look at what's driven this.
So the pros down. So the pros. All right. Well, I mean, I kind of. It just feels like this is the game that on prime time is just a lot closer than people think. And I mean,
offensive line for the Chiefs is banged up.
No Pacheco.
No Pacheco.
So it's it's different. And we've seen the Chiefs, when you start to take pieces away from them, they kind of take a game or two to figure it back out. Carson Steele and Samaje Perine, I think, are going to be really, really good in the backfield. And I think they're going to be solid. Carson Steele is going to be a bruiser. Samaje Perine is going to step into that Jerick McKinnon role. And there was a point in time when you remember Jerick McKinnon scored 5 straight weeks in a row. Where, as the second running back, his anytime touchdown was plus 105. So at one point, I think Samaje Perine, I think they're going to get that offense going. But is it off of the back straight in this first game against Atlanta? No, I like the under. I like the under because of what you said, the offensive line concerns, because of no Pacheco. I think that a lot of the Chiefs' drives are going to stall out. I think the Falcons' defense, despite not being able to get a pass rush or generate a consistent pass rush, I do think that in the secondary, they're going to play really well. I do like D. Alford. I think that A.J. Terrell is still a very, very solid corner, and I think they're going to give them different looks in that secondary. They just have to generate a pass rush, which, hey, they may get a lot easier because of that offensive line. And then on the Chiefs side of the ball, I mean, it's Kirk Cousins in primetime. And despite getting the win, as, I called last week, I hate the Eagles. But I think that this is a really, really good spot for this Chiefs defense to also get up really, really good and play really, really well. We got to the point where the Chiefs defense is kind of the heartbeat of this team. Spags has them playing so good. So I like the under. 46.5 is where I got at. I'm sure it's probably dropped a little.
Yeah, it's 46.5. Same number. As a move.
Yeah, I would still take it. I still take it under 46.5. I don't think it's going to be a lot of points here. Primetime under.
Evan Abrams, who does an incredible job on Twitter, pulled this nugget out. Patrick Mahomes as a 3-point favorite or less, listed as an underdog on the road or a neutral site in his career, is 17-3-1 ATS.
Ooh. Yeah,
it's really hard. It's really hard to fade Mahomes here when he's on the road and he's favored slightly, just a little. So 17-3-1. We really haven't seen Travis Kelce have a monster game yet. We're still waiting on the Kelce game. This could be it here. It's Kirk Cousins in prime time. I don't know how you don't take the Chiefs here, lay 3 points. It feels like a game that I would love to get involved with from a same game teaser perspective and tease the total up to 51 and take under. 51.5, I think you'd be completely set, but I'm not sure you even need to do that. I think it might be Chiefs in the under. I think you could play them both. Chiefs win by 4, game goes under, low scoring game, not the most entertaining of football games, but I think the Chiefs play defense, the Falcons play defense, but at the end of the day, Mahomes makes more plays than Kirk Cousins does, and the Chiefs win the football game here in prime time. So I'll lay the 3. It's one of my contest picks. I like that from a contest perspective. If you're in a contest, you can see 3. I like the Chiefs there. Maybe not. You don't want to bet it. You can take it with a contest play. But it's hard for me to see the Chiefs not winning this game in prime time against the Falcons here with everybody watching. Prime time, a lot of people down there. It's funny. Where I am staying, the neighbor is at the game. He's a huge Falcons fan. He flew down to be at the game tonight to watch Mahomes. So like,
I love Mercedes-Benz. Yeah,
Falcon fans are fired up for this game to see Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs come in and have primetime football and Sunday Night Football there to watch again. All right, Terrell, why don't you run through your slide here of all your favorite bets for today?
All right, favorite plays. Here we go. Dolphins plus 4.5 at the Seahawks. Rams plus 7.5 at versus the 49ers. Vikings plus 2. I'm calling it. Vikings are going to get it done at home. Chiefs, Falcons under 46.5. I got Derek Carr over. That passing yards prop is now at 49.5. I still think he can get to 250, guys. You should still play over there. Zamir White, I think he's going to be really, really good. Antonio Pierce has said, hey, I need to get Zamir White more touches. And then you have a Carolina run defense that let J.K. Dobbins rush for him for $130. They let Alvin Kamara dominate the game for him, got 86 on the rushing yards. 59.5 is way too short. Adam Thielen, ladder him up. Go ahead, get in the construction zone, build a ladder. I think Adam Thielen's going to have a great day today. And come on, if I'm going to watch my New York Giants play football, I'm going to cash a bet. I promise you I will. Daniel Jones over half an interception.
What's the price on that? How expensive is that?
So I got it at minus 130. Earlier in the week, I can follow. Yeah, I can look at it now and see what the update. Because I mean, it should be minus 170.
Right, that's what I mean. How expensive is it?
It's minus 140 now. Still not bad. Still not bad.
Okay.
If you can find 2, go play 2. I think that's in the realm of possibility as well. And then,
wow,
I gotta go with my Southern brother, the man, the myth, the legend, Xavier Leggett. The rookie gets his first touchdown, 5-1.
I like it. Anytime touchdown. Okay, for my plays for today, we talked about it earlier. Ravens against the Cowboys. I'm taking them laying the 1 point. I think they've got to win that football game. Backs against the wall for a team that's got championship aspirations. They cannot start 0-3. I like the Packers catching 3 against the Titans. It's a fade on Will Levis. I'm not a huge fan of what the Titans have looked like so far to start the year. I love the coaching mismatch there. I think it's a huge one for LaFleur against Callahan. I'll take the Packers plus the 3. The teaser, Vikings plus 8. So I'm with you on the Vikings, either winning the game or staying close. I'm taking the Eagles up to 9. It's a fade on the public. Everyone's on the Saints. Everyone thinks it's going to be a blowout and the Saints are going to keep on scoring. I don't think that's the case. I'm not that high on Derek Carr. I think it has more to do with the defenses the Saints played versus what the Saints have done. And yes, I agree the secondary is a bit lacking for the Eagles, but I think they'll be able to have enough of a pass rush and stop the run, make it be a Derek Carr game because the running game's been incredible for the Saints. I think Jonathan Mingo has a good game here today. I'm with you when it comes to the Panthers here. Okay,
here we go.
I'm with you in terms of having the number's low at 19.5 for Jonathan Mingo. These receivers have been literally ghosts with Bryce Young. Now you have a competent quarterback. I think they have a chance. The Justin Watson prop has hit the first 2 weeks here. It's Mahomes finding him for 1 or 2 deep balls. I'm 2-0. I'm right back on it with Justin Watson over 17.5 yards receiving for the Chiefs. I like Jameson Williams to score here for the Lions at plus 185. He's had a really good start to the year. I like to get him into the end zone today. And then Marvin Harrison, I think the Lions defense, I'm going to trust the biting kneecaps to shut down Marvin Harrison and not allow him to have a big game and not let him go off like he did last week. Week 1, he was nothing. Week 2, he was everything. Let's see what the defense can look like for the Lions here for today. All right, Wong teaser time, guys. And this is, I'm not going to go through it, but you can Google what a Wong teaser is. The total is 36 now for the Chargers and the Steelers. I'm going to give the Chargers 8.5 points here. I'm going to go from 2.5. DraftKings has it at 3. If you have access to DraftKings, you can get it at 9. So I'm in New Hampshire. So let's play DraftKings. I have access to it. So let's play the 9 here. Chargers plus 9. And the number now is 2 for the Colts. We've seen some buy on here with the 1.5 up to 2. I'm going to give the Bears +8 here on this one. I don't like to double dip. I think the Vikings are probably a better angle. And I've already teased the Eagles. I've already teased the Vikings. There's nobody else really that I love except Green Bay, which would you tease Green Bay up? Because if I'm wrong about Green Bay, I lose 2 bets on Green Bay. I'd rather lose one bet. I'd rather lose 1 bet than lose 2 bets.
Yeah, I don't mind the Bears. I don't mind the Bears. I think I like the Vikings. I think the Vikings is probably because I mean, come on, the Texans just don't win games by margin.
Right.
So even if you go off of what the earlier line was +4, and this is a 3-point game, you still cash the tease. So I think the Vikings is really, really interesting. I like when you threw that out.
Vikings, Eagles teaser, and we're going Chargers, Bears teaser. We're taking them both up here. We'll see what happens with this game in Pittsburgh. I mean, my gosh, 36. This is an Iowa football game, although Iowa's 4-0 to the over. I can't.
4-0.
I got to stop making that joke because it's no longer the case for Iowa football. I mean, they hung 31 and won the pig yesterday with the Floyd and Rosedale. So they went ahead and put one on Minnesota yesterday. So I don't know. Iowa's offense, obviously, all of a sudden is starting to click a little bit after that boneheaded loss to the Seahawks, to the Cyclones in the Cyhawk game. They had some frustration to take out there on Minnesota. So we saw that yesterday. All right, guys. Again, if you're looking for any WNBA action, you can go bettingpros.com/Matt. I have a Daily Juice official play that's available there. Easier to get there on the browser side of things than the app side of things. We're still working that quirk out as to how to find me. It's at Sports Talk Matt is my handle on the app, but it's easier just to go directly bettingpros.com/Matt to get that play for the W. Any closing thoughts, Terrell? Favorite play is Miami still, right?
Yeah, Miami's still the favorite play. Rams are a close second just because I like how everybody's fading me. And so I like being the only one right.
I hear you. Made the public.
So close your eye special. I'm on the close your eye special heavily. Close your eye special there's actually 3 games. It's a 60% trend. The Cowboys technically do count as a close your eye special, but I can't bet the Cowboys. Come on. I can't do that. So 2-1. 2-1 for the close your eye special today.
I may have to get involved with the Miami Dolphins. We hang up here. I may have to go and to take a look at that because I think you may be onto something there. Although I may do a Dolphins teaser combined with the under on Sunday Night Football. Ooh. I may do that and go up to 10 and take the total.
Oh, no way Gino wins that game by 10.
Right? So it's 4, tease it up to 10, and then go ahead and take the total on Sunday night, take that up to 51.5 and go under. So
I think I'm going to bet that right now.
Yeah, right. It's not a bad play. So I think I'm gonna trail you with that, and I'm gonna jump on that as well. He is Terrell Furman. I'm Matt Perrault. For Sal in the back. Great job, Sal. Appreciate all your time and effort, guys. Thank you for being here. This was a ton of fun. We'll get going next week for week 4 of the NFL. Remember to download the Betting Pros app, get all the system plays, information, prop bet, cheat sheet, everything else. Go download in the App Store or the Google Play Store right now. We're back next week for week 4 of the NFL live stream here with Betting Pros.